Dude, every day is just a wonderful rainbow.
It's because you don't have a job.
It's fucking not. And you don't live in the real world. You've never been fucking shoulder deep in a grease trap.
Yeah, for real.
You are listening to Whip Cream Salmon. My name is Brian Bastanza. His name is Ronnie Sanchez. Welcome aboard the pirate ship. This is where we talk all things food, friends, and fuckery. And today we have some extra special fuckery for you. So let's go. Ronnie, what's going on, my dude?
Everyday fuckery, really. Today is actually a big day for me. I haven't cued you in yet.
Okay.
I'm going back to the kitchen.
He's going back to the kitchen. What does that mean?
This morning, when I woke up, I did not think that would be the case. So to cue the listeners in a little bit, I left my job at Pepsi after being there for too long. It was supposed to be a temporary thing. It was like 3.5 years. Done with that. I got a job working as I don't want to say the name of the company, but it's basically a data analyst, but it's for live sports, right? So I'm data tracking college football, NFL football, and then as the year progresses, it'll switch to like basketball, and then there's a possibility of also doing baseball and hockey. So I'm super fired up about that, but right now it's just a part-time gig. It's like, I don't know, 15 to 25, I'd say, hours a week. So to fill that void, I'm taking up a kitchen gig. Yeah, dude, I'm pretty fired up about it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude, I saw this posting. And what drew me to it was the hours. They're only open, well, actually, at the time of posting, I guess they were only open 4 days a week, but now they're open 5. But I told them I would still just work 4 days a week. And it's a like coffee shop, cafe, but they have some like elevated food. And yeah, so I'll just be working there like 4 days a week in the mornings from like, I don't know, 7:30 to 2ish. Something like that.
Cool.
And then, football typically happens in the afternoon. So I'll be able to do that in the afternoon, dude. So I'm kind of excited about it.
Hell yeah. That's so exciting. Congratulations. Round of applause.
Thank you.
Let's crack one to that, actually.
Yeah, let's cheers. Oh, my beer's getting warm.
You got warm beer syndrome? Sorry.
Almost. I don't have a cooler like you do. Oh, the old Narragansett. Is that how you say that?
You know it. I don't really know it. Yeah, I do think that's how you say it. Narragansett. Where are you from?
Yeah, it's a classic. I think it's from like Maine, or I think it's from Narragansett, if that's how you say it.
It says Narragansett Brewing Company, Providence, Rhode Island, and Rochester, New York.
Okay.
But then the address says Providence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rhode Island. Oh yeah.
Slam back a couple lagers, sold on merit, made on honor. Love that.
I think I had one from this brewery a couple weeks ago. That Charlotte brewery called Resident Culture.
Nice.
And it's called Friendship is Free, and it's a wit beer, and it's delicious.
That's awesome. I'm also ripping shots over here.
Your boy's getting loose
because it's a Tuesday and everything, so let's rip some fucking shots. I just got
making me jealous.
Yeah, I got a bottle of unfiltered sake, I believe is how you officially say it.
Kind of upset you didn't fill me in on that.
I know, it's my bad. Our roommate got home like late last night, and we were in the kitchen. He had a little can of sake, and I was like, oh, I'll rip one with you. And actually, honestly, like, we've had this bottle in the fridge for way too long. And I was like, oh, every time I rip one of these, I'm like, let's fucking go. I get a little jiggle going, you know? Let's fucking go. So to Ronnie's new job, I guess I will rip one
Cheers.
for Ronnie. And I'll also rip one for Brian. Because,
Couple for the boys.
for the boys.
That one's actually mine for you.
That one was I thought the first one was, but maybe I mixed them up.
Now you're drinking vicariously for me.
Congratulations, Ronnie.
Thanks, dude. I am stoked. It's cool because it's not like a full commitment. And the owner, he told me straight up, he was like, my wife and I own this spot and we know coffee, but we don't really know food. So he's like, I just like to hire cooks that are into food and kind of let you guys do your thing. So I think there'll be some like creative freedom in there. And yeah, it seems like a pretty cool thing. So we'll see. I'm going in tomorrow. I don't even have a knife roll anymore because when I left the last kitchen, that thing was so dusty that I was like, oh, I don't need this anymore. And I finally got rid of it. And it was the first knife roll that like I ever had that I bought like an all-inclusive kit that like the Victorinox knife set,
Mm-hmm.
Thing is old. I mean, it was probably, I probably bought it when I was like 16 years old. So I've had that thing for a long fucking time.
Wow, that's awesome.
It was dusty. It was dusty. It really needed to go. So I don't know. I'm going to figure something out tomorrow, but I'm going to roll in there with my knives rolled up in a towel or something. I don't know.
Dude, it's dope when like you're like walk in, you have like two pieces of fucking cardboard that are duct taped together that you slid your knife into, so it just looks like you're full on amateur hour, and then you go fucking whoop everyone's fucking ass, and you show them that you're fucking legit. You know what I mean? Like, because that's pretty fire.
Yeah,
that's pretty fire. Are there a bunch of people that work there, or like how many cooks are there, or is it just gonna be like one person on a shift?
I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. I mean, he only named 2 other cooks, and I guess there's like multiple locations. There's a lot of things that they're like doing. He said he's also got I think they have like a coffee shop in like I think he said Fuji Film or something, like one of their headquarters out here. I think they do like food service for the corporate office there. I don't know how often. I think it sounded like it was like a full-time thing.
Oh, nice.
Where they had like a setup in there. So some of like the meal prep and stuff will be, I think from the way I understood it, it'll be like made and brought over to that location as well. So I don't know, we'll see. I think it's going to be like sandwiches, salads, but then they also had some like dope looking breakfast stuff too. So
nice, cool.
we'll see.
Yeah, a lot of those like massive tech companies have like, like you just have like a bunch of restaurants on campus that like you can go and eat at for. I mean, I know that to be true for like
Right.
the Googles and the stuff like that. I think that Nick had a buddy that worked in San Francisco at a spot like that, and like he's like, oh, the dude, all he does is like walk around and like check temperatures on coolers and makes fucking 150K or something like that. Crazy.
Sign me up for that. That sounds
Yeah,
like
those are good jobs. Maybe you get in on some of that action, dude. That's what's up.
Yeah, I mean, ideally the long-term plan will still be that at my data analytics job, like a year from now, hopefully I'll be able to be on their staff full time and not just like a contracted employee, because that seems like the way to go. Hanging out, watching sports.
Yeah.
Those guys seem like they're having a pretty good time in there. And it's interesting too.
The real ones that have been with us from the beginning, when they see you in the fucking booth on Monday Night Football.
I'm not.
Al Michael step aside. Ronnie Sanchez stepping in. Let's go.
Maybe it'll be a whipped cream. Maybe whipped cream salmon. Maybe they'll book us for a Monday Night Football or something.
They'd probably be fucking stoked on our insight on the game. Don't you think?
I think so. I mean, they should be.
Yeah. Fucking cream everywhere, as far as I see it. Creaming. That guy's creaming.
Yeah, get me on the what is the teleprompter that they write on the screen? They always draw dicks on the field by accident. What's that thing called?
Good. I don't know what it's called, but I know there's like a really famous video of John Madden drawing a dick.
It's going to be hard to convince them to get us on the Monday Night Football cast if we can't even remember the name of that thing.
That's what Google's there for, bro.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. So,
that's awesome.
yeah.
I'm so proud of you, dude. I'm a little jealous. I hope it's fun.
Me too.
I hope it's fun.
And if it's not, I don't know.
Fuck them.
Then it'll be like a lot of other jobs that I've had in the past.
They're never great, right?
Right.
Like sometimes they're good.
Some jobs are better than
jobs
others.
are good.
Yeah.
Right, but you're never like, oh, I'm fucking so stoked. Dude, you see these people on their fucking podcasts with their like puffy earmuffs and their streaming setup, and they're just like, dude, every day is just a wonderful rainbow.
It's because you don't have a job.
It's fucking not, and you don't live in the real world. Yeah. You've never been fucking shoulder deep in a grease trap.
Yeah, for real. You've never been in the kitchen when the line is flooding.
Yeah.
And you're like standing, ankle deep in sludge.
Yeah. Those are great moments.
Super great. Yeah, I want to make a correction. I said, the long-term goal would be that I work at that other place full-time. No, the long-term goal is that you and I get a studio somewhere and we're just full-time Whip Cream Salmon show hosts, creaming all over the place.
Creaming everywhere. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Yeah. We'll do, Whip Cream Live.
Yeah. Ooh, like Slime Time Live, but it's Whip Cream Live.
Yeah.
And we just cream our guests.
Sure. That's what sells tickets,
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That would be the dream, man. I mean, dude, get us a little studio, like a real studio, where with a kitchen.
Yeah.
And we could just crank out content and like make recipes, and then just, I mean, you do see like YouTubers doing it. I know that we've talked about it at one time, or I guess we continue to talk about it, and we are making content now, but it would be really cool to be in that position. Getting to that position, it's just unclear to me how you get there to be like, okay, I'm ready to fully quit my job and do this. It's nuts, but that would be awesome.
Yeah. I think first we got to figure out how to get this thing to make money, and then
or people just listen to it.
Probably. Once we stop spending money to produce this podcast, then we can talk about if we could just cover our own costs at this point. That'd be good.
Yeah. So
doing it for the love of the game right now. Yeah.
Follow. Yeah. Like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to share.
Tell your friends about it.
All your friends.
Tell your mom about it.
Your mom loves whipped cream salmon.
Even though she doesn't know it yet, she will.
Dad too? Yeah, facts. What are we going to talk about today, Ronnie?
Well, what have you been cooking? Been cooking anything?
What have we been cooking?
You didn't even get to that.
So Sammy ducked me on her country challenge, like, whatever, I roll hard. No, I'm just kidding. She's been busy, and she's out for a couple of days too. She's over babysitting, and she was in Charleston this past weekend. So we pushed that back a little bit. I did just about 30 minutes ago make like a super fire grilled cheese that I want to talk about. Super fire.
Love grilled cheese. And I do want to hear about it.
Yeah, like I said, Sam was down in Charleston for the weekend. She was with her mom and her sister, and they, Sam's mom is always gonna stock up on the groceries when she's down in Charleston, and then since we're close, we are the recipients of said groceries. So
love that. Shout
out Tanya Guidi for hooking it up with all the cheese selection, because I have made myself a wonderful.
There you go, Tanya.
Let's give Tanya Guidi a round of applause.
What a gal.
We had a couple different cheddars going on. I had a brick of brie that I cut up and also some shreddy. And I just, soft butter on that beautiful bread, all the cheese in the middle, low and slow.
That sounds good.
The shit was a really good time. I put a little, had some chimichurri that I put in the middle when it came out. And I dipped a little hot sauce too. A little hot sauce, a little dip.
Love that.
Dip.
Love that.
And it was fire. So, grilled cheeses, it doesn't have to be fancy, sometimes it just has to be real.
Yeah, we had a gangster grilled cheese at PJ's. I think it was like right when we first started there, and it was
the adult grilled cheese.
Yeah, you remember that? It had like street racers.
Is that mine?
Yeah, I think that was you.
Dude, these motherfuckers fucking driving around, fucking shooting guns. Pew 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 pew. Drive by. Probably them.
Yeah, the adult grilled cheese. I think it had some kind of like a smoked, like applewood smoked bacon and an apple butter, and then it had like, I think it had two different kinds of cheese, and I can't remember what. I think it had like a brie.
Dude, it had like some gnarly blue, right?
It was truffle tremor, I think.
Truffle tremor.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Who makes that? Yeah, that was a really good one. Let me see.
Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
It was definitely a truffle tremor.
Who makes that? Cypress Grove. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
We have some Chago in there too.
I don't remember if it had Chago. It might. I feel like it had like a brie and then the truffle tremor. I could be wrong about the brie, but
a brie and the truffle, two rind cheeses in that grilled cheese. That would be wild.
Or maybe the truffle tremor is what I'm thinking the brie was. Shit, I don't know.
That had a thick rind to it, but like a creamy center,
it's delicious.
I feel like it had like a 1/4 inch, like the rind, but then like a 1/4 inch of like almost hard cheese, but then like a soft center.
Yeah, and the apple butter on it played really well. And then I think it was just served with like a tomato bisque of some sort.
That was bomb.
That was good.
Yeah, that was a fire. That's a fire sandwich.
Yeah.
Man, grilled cheese, like, dude, it's always with art. It's about the simplicity, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter if it's like music or paintings or food. It's like, give me that simple shit. It's always the best.
It's a simple shit, right? Well, that's why, like, with that I keep bringing it up, that corn, miso, butter, scallions, that was just like sweet corn with like the salty miso. And it was just like, it was so fucking good. It was so good.
Yeah.
I mean, you get salt, sweet, fat.
Umami.
Yeah. A little, yeah. So good. So good.
So dope. Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Like instant satisfaction, and I just like microwaved the butter and miso together and threw it together with some steamed corn, and it was better than a lot of things that I've put way more effort into.
Dude, isn't it so funny how you could put like 3 hours into something and you're like, yeah, it's all right, but then like you're just fucking 2:00 in the morning with a fucking piece of bread and like just whatever I could find in the fridge. It's like, oh, that's it,
dude. Italian bread, Italian bread with butter and some salt sprinkled on there, cold butter on bread. That is one of the most delicious things.
Talk dirty to me for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday I made some smoked chicken thighs.
Nice.
And they were good. Rochelle liked them a lot more than I did. I don't think I salted the rub enough. So it was a little undersalted, but I think with the chicken thighs specifically, when you're smoking, I think it's better. I pulled them off at 165, but I think it's better to go over because when I did the spatchcock chicken, the breast I pulled obviously at 165 actually I just threw a wrench in my whole fucking scheme. I don't know. There's something about like the fattiness of the thigh. You really need it to like kind of almost like the fat to like render fully, so they get like super tender, and then the meat, the muscle like segments in the thigh, you want them to like firm up, kind of like when you're do like a confit, you know, and that like you pull apart the duck confit and like those like each like muscle grouping is like really tight, you know, but then you like press them and they like fall
Yeah,
apart.
yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm talking about? Am I making sense? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. They are like true pieces of muscle, right? And they're segmented perfectly, but they are.
Right.
And that must be part of like the curing part of the duck confit too. But like I'm seeing your point for sure. And like, yeah, the whole like, I mean,
I also didn't cure it overnight, so maybe that could have been part of it too.
just thighs just don't need to be nailed at 165,
No, I totally agree.
in my opinion. Like we can have a dick measuring contest all we want, and like who knows more about food, and you might have like something better to say about it because like it's cooked perfectly, but like dude, you cook that shit to 180 and like no one's gonna fucking notice. And in fact, like I think like you might get more flavor out of it, depending on. I mean, it's obviously depending on like the way that you cook it. If you just fucking throw it on the grill for fucking 40 minutes, yeah, you're not gonna be having a great time. But like anything like slower, where you're right to your point, where you're like rendering that fat slowly, like I think I think that's all fair game,
Yeah, because the first piece,
and definitely it braises and stuff.
right? The first piece that I had was like a big, thick, juicy thigh, and it was good. Don't get me wrong; like it wasn't like it was like didn't taste good. It was really good. Um, but then the second one, I went for a smaller piece, and the smaller one was much better. And I think for that reason, it probably well exceeded 165 by the time that the big one that I had temped or probed rather was at 165. So that one was a lot better. But for the sauce, Rochelle went to the farmer's market and she got a bunch of peaches and then a whole bunch of like random peppers. Dude, she sent me a picture of the like for as hard of a time as I've had growing peppers. Man, they really made me feel bad because they had an assortment of all just a massive bounty of peppers. They were beautiful. But she brought home like Scotch bonnets and habaneros and these other ones called Sugar Rush Peach um, and aji amarillo peppers. She brought home a whole bunch. And yeah, I made a barbecue sauce with those and the peaches. So it was like a,
Nice.
yeah, sweet heat.
What's in there? I mean, is it like mostly peach based, and then it gets spun up with like?
Yeah, peaches. Well, yeah, let me see. I cooked down the peaches. Well, I blistered the peppers and then threw in some garlic, threw in the peaches. I deglazed with I actually had some rum that I deglazed with. I wanted to do bourbon. I thought I had bourbon in there, but I didn't have bourbon, so I did rum, which actually worked out well because it was spiced rum. So then I threw in a little bit of like cinnamon and cumin, a little ginger. Trying to think what else. And then vinegar and like
Yeah.
a good amount of vinegar, and then spun that all up, and it was really good. The sauce came out great.
Would you consider that like Carolina style because of the vinegar quantity?
No, because
Is it thick? It was kind of thicker,
yeah, Carolina barbecue is like
thin, right?
it's like seasoned vinegar
Yeah,
rather than like a vinegary barbecue sauce, you know,
yeah, 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 yeah.
which I do enjoy. I do like. There's like different schools of thought there where there's like the vinegar base where it's like it's straight up vinegar and like your spices in there, and then they have kind of like I don't know there's like Eastern and Western Carolina barbecue, and I haven't been here long enough to really tell you the difference. I think the Eastern is more I think shit I'm gonna fuck this up and then like I'm gonna get deported from the state. I think Eastern Carolina barbecue is the vinegar, and I think the Western Carolina also has vinegar, but it's also more tomato based, while still being very vinegary. And I kind of like a combination of the two.
Okay, I'm with you. Um, just a little warning. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people have guns in the state, so yeah, I mean, definitely be careful about about what you're saying about barbecue sauce.
Yeah, I'm sure if any of them heard me, yeah, I made them very angry.
I mean, I couldn't agree more with you as far as like, or I'm not even sure if this is the point you were trying to make, but like I don't give a fuck about tradition in that sense of like, oh, this should be this way because this is how we've been doing it for this long. Like, if make something in between if that's what you think tastes the best or is,
Right. I got it here. It says Eastern style barbecue is known for its vinegar base and peppery bite, while Western style barbecue, also known as Lexington style barbecue, features a rich sweet sauce. So I think it's probably just like more sugar and yeah, I don't know if it is necessarily tomato. No, it does like ketchupy red sauce. So there you go.
And then where's that white sauce? Is that Alabama white barbecue? Is that right?
Alabama, yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
you were dredging yourself in or something?
Yeah, I bathed in it and then rolled on around in the chicken.
Yeah, I'd pay good money to see that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just that because we're not from the South that like, dude, I want all kinds of barbecue.
Yeah.
In fact, if I could have all the kinds in one place, that'd be like my preferred method because brisket's delicious. Like Texas style barbecue to me, I think is fucking fantastic. I've really enjoyed lots of Carolina barbecue, like the whole hog, vinegar base. I'll eat some St. Louis pork ribs. Give me all of that. It's all good.
Give me that Korean ribs, dude, for sure.
Yeah, fucking Korean barbecue is fantastic. Dude, there's a guy in Texas. He's from Egypt, and he opened a. I don't know if he has a restaurant or if it's just a food like a truck, like a smoking truck trailer. But he does like Egyptian style barbecue. Like it's like Egypt meets Texas barbecue, and he does a lot of lamb barbecue, which looks awesome.
What are we talking for like cuts and stuff? It's like a leg of lamb.
I think it's probably a lot of like shoulder and leg of lamb, yeah, things like
Slow
that.
and slow.
But it looks super good. Yeah, real like heavily spiced. Middle Eastern spices. And
sounds nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, Egypt is African, but still, is it still considered Middle East? I don't know. I'm gonna offend everybody this episode.
Let's offend them, dude.
Talking the Egyptians and the North Carolinians are gonna be really upset.
I mean, it's funny because we like when we are like that region, right? Like it's like Morocco, Nigeria, like Egypt, Israel, like all those. It's like the distance between like Southern Florida and North Carolina. Like
that's true. It's all very close, yeah.
Like to us, like that distance doesn't seem that far, and it really isn't in that sense. Like so, I'm sure a lot of shared cuisine in that region.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What's the definition of Texas barbecue? What I picture is like a big old beef rib.
It's mostly beef.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much. I'm sure there is pork, but I think it's like it's mainly focused beef, and then I think it is like the ketchup-based barbecue sauce. But then again, I don't know that for like certain things, I don't know that they would put sauce on it. I think that's one of those things where people get really iffy about like putting sauce on different things.
Right. I kind of say, I mean, I almost second that. I like, and I'm pretty inexperienced in this realm, but like, give me like a really well smoked piece of meat with like a subtleness to the barbecue sauce, and I think that really lands for me. I don't know that I like want like a thicker like thing that's going to try to take over the smoky flavor, because like the best like barbecue that I've had is just bomb. Like that crust on that meat is just the bomb part of it.
Right. You don't saying you want to dip your fucking brisket in Sweet Baby Ray's or something. Like you're talking like something super super light.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did some ribs on the smoker a while back, and I was reading some forums or something about it, and somebody suggested, they said when you apply the sauce, because a lot of people are anti-sauce on their ribs as well. There's different schools of thought there. And so I did a dry rub, and then someone was saying that they do a dry rub with a sauce as well. And I grew up in a household where we put sauce in our ribs. I'm trying to learn. And so I did the dry rub, but I was like, I kind of still want a little sauce. And this person was saying that, similar situation. He said that his family wants a sauce. He doesn't want the sauce. So what he does is he says he applies it like he's trying to brush it off. So it's like it, and you just get like a really thin, like shellac of sauce on there. And then the ribs come out like super glossy and delicious. You still get the flavor from the sauce, but they're not like dripping with sauce.
I like that.
Yeah. And I like that too. And they came out.
That's awesome.
They're great. They were fantastic. Best ribs I've ever had. Well, yeah, definitely the best ones I've ever made for sure.
You're a big smoker. I mean,
trying to be.
Since you moved into that spot when did you move into that spot? We were talking May? Maybe May?
Yeah, maybe.
You probably made like
May,
a dozen meals on that. More? I think you made 20 meals on the smoker. That would be a lot.
Maybe not 20, but probably a dozen or so. Yeah, no, I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's been something that I had been aspiring to be able to do for a long time, and just like haven't had the space to do it. And now that I have it, I'm like a little like obsessive about like trying it, and most of it has been really delicious. And then occasionally, like my chicken last night, Rochelle loved it. I thought it was like, it's okay. But, I'm just, it's cool that I'm like learning new stuff. That's the biggest thing, is that I'm learning about food again. And, I always try to like learn new things in the kitchen anyway. Like just when I'm cooking in general, I always like what is something like I haven't made. And like, that's kind of, what you guys are doing with your like country food challenges and stuff. Same thing. Like I'm just always trying to cook something new, something different. There's things I go back to, but I don't know. That's one of those things. Like I'm sure you get this question a lot. People be like, "Oh, you're a cook. What is your favorite thing to make?" Like what do you say when people ask you that? Because
no, and you're 100% right, because I do get that question a lot, or have gotten that question a lot in my life, and like,
yeah.
I guess I generally answer in some sort of like cop-out way of saying like, yeah, I don't really know, but I guess I kind of come to the answer of like, well, I identify a lot with like Mediterranean flavors, so I really like tomatoes and olives and lemons and capers, and whether that's Italian or Spanish or any, I think those are like ingredients that I gravitate towards. That's usually how I answer that. But like, to your point, like I agree 100%. Like there are things that I make and I continuously go back to, but it's usually for simplicity, not for the sense of like, I don't know. I'm always going to try something new. And I mean, I guess like to a fault, I guess I like, since I'm not in a restaurant, since when I'm making a new dish, I'm kind of like, I'm going to do a little research. I'm going to watch like a few videos. I'm going to read a few articles, and I'm going to try to figure out that thing. But then like, I'll give it my best shot. And then, I mean, a lot of times I'll just move on to the next thing the next time I want to do that. So in that sense, I'm not really like perfecting a thing. Whereas like, what's great about being in a restaurant and like putting together a menu in a restaurant is you have an idea and you put that thing on the menu, or at least that's how it worked at PJ's, which was like really good for our growth, right? You have an idea, and like the first thing you do is you like put it on the menu. So we're going to make it, right? And then you make it you make it away, and maybe you got 80% of the way there. It's servable. It's a good dish, but you're like, okay, I can see that this can be enhanced in this way. I can see that this being enhanced in this way. And then over the course of a season, over 3 months, maybe at the 3-week to a month mark, you're like, okay, this is the dish. I've figured it out now. I've gone through enough iterations of this, maybe this like garnish, this functional garnish. Maybe the sauce has gone through a couple iterations. Maybe the cooking technique, if it's something that you haven't cooked a lot in the protein realm, like maybe you have to like figure that out, how to really perfect it. And then, yeah, by that like 3-week mark, after like a few dozen services, you're like, okay, like this is really nice right now. And I guess I don't get that as much at the house as anymore, but not to a sense that I'm like upset about it. I just like am continuously, and I'm just because it's not the best X that I've ever eaten doesn't mean that it wasn't good and it wasn't a good meal, and doesn't mean that I have to like really dive into that thing like head over heels.
Right. And yeah, I mean, I think that Sammy would probably be pretty sick of you making the same thing every night for the next couple months until you like figured it out,
Right. Exactly. Like this is exactly the same as the first time. Like I think like you and I can get excited about the subtle differences and improvements, and the misses are more pronounced.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, like I'm like, this piece just didn't work out,
Right.
And like to 99% of people don't care, would have had the same experience on day 1 as they would on day 14 of the new menu, which is why it works out great, right? Which is why you can get that menu on that. You can get that item on that menu on day 1 and put it out day 1. Even if you don't feel like you nail it, you can still get it can still be received really well.
Yeah. Yeah. It is rare that like something you put on the menu is served the same way day 1 as it is 3 months later or whatever. It's shit changes. I mean, it's also like the game of telephone, it's like chef asked it to be done this way, and then like someone would start doing it this way, and then they would teach the next guy, and like down the line, like things just change. It gets for better or for worse, but
for sure,
hopefully for the better,
for sure.
One thing that would always get me whenever we had a new menu in any restaurant is if a customer would make a change to the dish, be like, no peppers or whatever. And then so you'd make it, and it'd be like, you're like, I'm still learning how to make this dish, and you're asking me to put no peppers. So I make it and I put it out. Fucking every time after that, it would be a struggle for me to then like remember to put peppers into that dish because the first time I made it, someone said no peppers. That would fuck me up all the time.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and that brings us to our next segment. The kitchen might hate you if ... It's a great place to start, honestly.
I like this one.
I don't know if this will be reoccurring or anything, but I think it's a fun thing to talk about because Ronnie and I were talking earlier, and we're just like, there's just a lot of like of banter between cooks and chefs and servers that like happen behind the line or behind the kitchen door that like the diner never gets to see, and they're just like constant inside jokes, not inside joke as in like between the staff, this core staff, but like among restaurant workers everywhere. I feel like a lot of these things, like if you've worked in restaurants at all, if you've served tables, you like get a lot of this stuff, right? And I just thought it'd be fun if Ronnie and I just went back and forth and shared a couple things that like kitchen staff like bitch and moan about sometimes. And one of the things is, and it's funny because Jack kind of mentioned it a couple episodes ago, and he was like, oh, like, yeah, if you take like this item off this menu, if you take this piece off and this piece off and you ask for it this way, well then like don't be surprised that you don't like it because you made me serve it like that, and
you've done this to yourself.
Of course. PSA, if you are allergic to something, it is okay to ask for that thing to be modified.
Yeah. Also, if you ask for something to be modified because you're allergic, it is not okay to then order something else that also includes that ingredient and then say, oh, for this dish, it's okay. Because I've gotten a lot of that shit.
That is
Oh, no, I'm allergic to tomatoes. And then you fucking order the spaghetti later and you go, oh, no, I can have it for spaghetti. It's okay. No, motherfucker, you just don't like raw tomatoes. You aren't allergic to that shit.
You're a fucking pain in my ass.
Yeah.
That's what you are. Just be real about it.
The cooks might hate you if you lie about your allergies.
I'm real. I'm being real back here. Guess what happens? Shellfish. We got a little shellfish powder on the line that we're going to put in your food, and we're going to see who's allergic to what. Don't do that. But think about doing that. What else? What do you got? You got a good one?
Yeah. This was actually at PJ's. We had a vegan.
Okay, it's a good start.
Come in and they ordered vegan. They made it clear they were vegan, and then they ordered the duck. And so the ticket came in and they said vegan, duck, okay. Because they just fucking have an angst for ducks.
They
said, don't give me no cow milk. I don't want no butter, but fuck the duck. I'll eat that duck.
You're a fucking duck murderer.
You're a horrible. Worse. That's discrimination. Why would you only eat the ducks?
Yeah, super prejudice. I think, I mean, honestly, ducks are like one of my favorite animals
to eat.
I just like them as animals too, but yeah.
I also like them as animals.
They got quick feet, really quick feet. They're like, I don't know, running backs kind of. Don't ask me if the rice is gluten-free. If you're gluten-free, know what's gluten-free, okay? I don't ask me if the French fries are gluten-free. Sorry. Well, they might not be. That's a bunch of people put that coating on there. I guess those Cisco fries do have gluten, huh?
But you're right, and that's another one where they'll claim they're gluten-free, and then they'll order something else. Well, actually, that has gluten in it. They're like, oh well, I can have a little bit of gluten. You said you were celiac. What do you mean?
Jack was fucking celiac for like 10 years, and then I moved back up to North Lake and started working back at Plum Shack, and he was just eating bread. It's like, what's going on here, dude? It's like, I'm good. You're not. You were never celiac.
Yeah, Jack, you know how many family meals I had to make special just for you? Because you couldn't eat that shit?
Bunch of them.
A bunch
of them.
More than a couple.
Yeah.
This is something that used to really fucking irk me. At Lulu's, it's an open kitchen, right? And so people would walk past the kitchen and they just like refuse to like make eye contact with the cooks. And then they'd get to the server waiting for them at the hostess stand and they say, thank you so much. The food was delicious. Motherfucker, you just walked past everybody that just cooked it for you. You didn't say nothing to them. The cooks might hate you if you fucking ignore everybody that did the shit for you and then say, thank you. It was delicious to the person that didn't cook anything for you.
Do people do that?
Cooks are people too. Yeah, they do that all the time. I used to that was the only, it wasn't the only open kitchen I worked at, but that one specifically, because like the customers have to, well, from one end of the dining room anyway, they would have to like walk past the line.
Right.
And they would just ignore the cooks that are standing there waiting for you to leave so they can go home. And they would just ignore you and then say thank you to the server. Thank you so much. That was delicious. And you tell me it was delicious.
Soft, dude. They just didn't want to look you in the eye because they were intimidated.
Yeah.
They were intimidated.
Yeah, look me in the face. Say it to my face.
I've been holding a grudge for way too long.
All right, well, let it out. This is where the therapy aspect of this pod kicks in.
When I was up at Ciro's, it's a restaurant in upstate New York, I was working at in the summers from culinary school. And it was fairly high end. Like there's like some celebrities that come through, and like one night Chef
Not John Stamos.
Bobby Flay
Okay, thank God.
came through. And I'm very young, right? I'm like, I think I was 18, potentially 19 years old. And Bobby Flay walks into the kitchen. And I don't know that he was like my favorite chef at the time or anything, but like, I mean, he's a big name celebrity chef. And
Right.
he came in and he walked to our chef, said one thing, and left without making eye contact with any of the cooks. And I was like, what is going on here? You want me to throw this pan at you, dude? I don't know why I'm like so mad. I was like so mad about that. I was like, this guy's such a fucking pussy, dude. And I don't know. I just like thought it would have been cool if he like acknowledged the 7 other people in the kitchen that were wearing chef coats.
The 7 other cooks, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to be...
Like, I thought you were a cook, dude. You're supposed to be on our team.
You're supposed to be one of us.
Pussy.
What a pussy.
So, yeah, Bobby Flay, if you want to come on the pod and duke it out, we'll have you. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You can make it up to us. Well, one of our boys actually just took down Bobby Flay.
Who did?
In the Bobby Flay showdown.
Who did?
Earl. Our boy Earl.
That's right.
Chef Earl.
Shout out Earl.
He did.
He took him down?
I haven't seen the episode.
You were telling me that he was on an episode with him. Earl worked at Pump Checks with us for like fucking a week and a half, I feel.
I think it was a couple months, but yeah, he I fucking had a really good time working with that kid for
He was better than us.
Yeah, he super talented. He's the executive chef somewhere in Montana now. I think in Whitefish, Montana, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
But yeah, he's doing big things, and yeah, he got an opportunity to take down Bobby Flay in one of those showdown episodes, and he kicked his ass from what I've heard. So
he was like, "This is for Plum Jacks, bitch."
He said, "This is for Brian." Look my boy in the eyes next time.
Yeah. Celebrity chefs get a big thumbs down. Or at least one of them does.
Took him down.
He's an Iron Chef, though.
Yeah, I think he's...
They still make that show?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have cable anymore. I couldn't tell you.
That's true. That's just rich people stuff, huh?
Who is the Chef Morimoto?
Yeah.
He was my favorite.
Yeah.
Dude, he would make... Dude, his food's beautiful. He makes those like stained glass looking sushi rolls that they're just beautiful. I don't know how he does it, but it's a real piece of art. His food is gorgeous. I admire him.
Yeah. As like a young person interested in culinary, I probably started watching like Iron Chef when I was like 15, right? Or like something like that, or at least like the old, like the original. And then they did Iron Chef America. And I was like watching that through culinary school, and I would still be watching it if it was still available. It's an awesome show. But like Morimoto would do things like, because Mario Batali was on there and Kat Cora was on there, and they were making, European food for the most part. But then like you'd see some Morimoto food and you're like, this is wild. This is like stuff that I haven't seen in school at all, or like you don't really see on Food Network at all. And I'm just like, oh, like the ultra high end Asian food was like so foreign to me. And I mean, in a lot of ways still is. It's very different.
Yeah.
Than like European style cooking. But like also like ultra high end and like very technique heavy.
Yeah, he's got a restaurant in Maui. I can't afford that.
I had a buddy, Charles, who I went to culinary school with, that worked at his restaurant in Philadelphia, over on his like externship from school. And I don't remember much about the stories of there, but I do remember him saying on the line, salt, pepper, MSG.
Fuck yeah.
In 9 pans.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah. Do you watch, I messaged you about this last night, but Dinner Time Live is David Chang's show.
I haven't watched it.
So David Chang has a show on Netflix, and he just like cooks dinner for two celebrity guests. Um, he does like all kinds of fun stuff. But what I love about David Chang is like his food is not pretentious at all. To the so much so that like it goes above and beyond to where it's like pretty fucking ridiculous. Where like he had Blake Anderson from um, Workaholics, the dude with like the big curly hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He had him and this other girl on, and he made them like it was like a sandwich between two frozen pizzas. Like made two frozen pizzas and like made like chicken tenders and like put, I don't know, it was like cheese and like flaming hot Cheetos and some other shit. It was like stoner food. And, like put another pizza upside down on top of it, you know. But then he makes some like really dope stuff. Actually, on that same episode, he made these like oysters Rockefeller, and it was like a ramen oysters Rockefeller. So he took like instant ramen and blended it up with like the seasoning packets, dried instant ramen, and he used that as like the breadcrumb for the oysters Rockefeller, and then toss it with the spinach and bacon and whatever else, garlic, whatever else goes in there.
Fuck yeah.
And he packed that on top of it. Yeah, it was dope. And he just does like a lot of fun stuff on there. And yeah, he's another chef that I really respect his food.
Yeah. You ever been to Momofuku?
No, but I would love to.
I've been to one in Vegas and the one in New York City. Excellent, right? We went on like a work trip to Vegas, and like, dude, you got that like Peking duck with like like lettuce wraps and like
that's
a
what
sauce.
I want.
And, like,
yeah,
dude, it's so dope. I mean, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say like ultra traditional, but like nothing that you're gonna get like
it's not.
you're like blown away with as far as like oh, this is overly impressive of a presentation. It's just like good, honest, really delicious food in a setting that's like pretty casual, but like also high end, right? Like you're not going in there and like not spending money. Like you're definitely going to spend some money, but like it's going to be casual. You're going to be casual with the server. And he's like really one of like the restaurateurs to do that first. And like I remember like we had like a restaurant ops course in school, and like Momofuku was made a point in a lecture to be like, oh, this is different, and they like change dining in a lot of ways. Like, oh, you can have your wait staff like wear short sleeve and like have tattoos, and that's like cool. And like I think like a lot of people in New York City at the time like really like appreciated that, because they're like, yes, we want really high end food, but we also don't like we also want to be welcomed like a casual guest. And I don't want to get all stuffed up, and I don't want to go to a restaurant where it's like I have to wear a jacket at the table, you know? Like I want to be myself, but also I fuck with food. And like I think that like I think David Chang did a lot for the culinary industry.
Yeah, I think that there's nothing wrong with, or there's nothing that says that you have to be dressed up and you know be in like a nice sit down environment to eat good food.
Yeah.
Like you can make really really good casual food, and like he's done a lot of that, and it's fucking awesome. And it has changed the game in a lot of ways. And yeah, you said like you made a point about the authenticity of the food, and that was something that he said in one of the episodes, was nothing he makes is authentic, which I also love. Like that's awesome. Like, and he has an interesting mind where he looks at things like something he was making yesterday was like a Filipino. It was like a Filipino stew, and he had Joe Coy
Comic
on. He's a Filipino comedian.
Yeah,
he's super funny. And David Chang is Korean, so he was super nervous about making Filipino food, and Joe Coy, like nothing he had in the stew was like authentic. So Joe Coy was like a little like watching him put together. Like I think he knew like David Chang was like that guy, like it was going to be good, but he was looking at it like, I don't know, man, like that doesn't look like, I can't remember the name of the stew, but he's like, it doesn't look like the stew that
Mama used to make.
my mom and my grandma would make, and it was the stew. It's like very sour, like and a lot of like Filipino food is like really acidic, like lots of vinegar. But in this stew, it is very sour, but it's also specifically doesn't have vinegar in it, and so to achieve the sourness, he used citric acid in it. And Joe Coy was like blown away. He was like, "What?" Like, couldn't believe how good it was. But yeah, he'd use citric acid because I guess like a lot of Filipino families, they'll use like a flavor packet or something like that. And so he just looked at what was in the flavor packet. Sure enough, citric acid. So, but yeah, he nailed it. He was fired up about it. One of the Lulu's sister restaurants, the Izakaya down the street.
Mm-hmm.
That was another place where it was like nothing on there was necessarily like authentic. It all came from, recipes and ideas and like streams of thought of like different cuisines, Asian cultures, Asian cuisines. But he got one like negative review on like Yelp or something, and it was like, this food isn't authentic at all. And like how like the restaurant can like reply to comments on Yelp or whatever.
Yeah.
He just replied with a picture of this, the front window. It says 0% authentic on the window. So he just replied to
It's
that.
so good.
That's really
That's awesome. Sammy made this Filipino sour soup a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
I think we skipped it because we kind of you went to Hawaii and then like, so we kind of had a little break there. And I just looked it up, so I don't 100% know if this is the one that she made. Tinola. It's like a brothy soup with green papaya and chicken, and it's Filipino, and it's really good. So, a little sidebar.
I don't know if it's the same one. I couldn't tell you one way or another, but
it was great.
How was it?
Dude, I love a brothy soup in the summertime. Yeah, all day long. That's awesome. And green papaya is awesome. I mean, I wouldn't have thought of it as like a stew or soup ingredient, but it's sour and it's fun and it's like, it's interesting. And yeah, I thought it was great. I'm coming more and more along to like, not that I wasn't, but like sour is like so important to me now or lately. Even I'll say it like this, like I now prefer a lot of fruit that like isn't fully ripe. I'm like, oh, like a cherry to me is better when it's still like has like a decent amount of sourness to it.
Sour.
Where I think that
yeah, I agree. I'm the same way with like stone fruits in general, like plums and peaches, apricots. Like I like them when they're still like sour. Like when a plum like has the skin still is like snappy and the skin is like has that like really like tart sourness to it. I really love that.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And I mean green papayas in particular, because the first thing I think of is a Thai green papaya salad. It's one of my favorite fresh, spicy dishes of all time, and so great ingredient. 5 stars. We'll eat again.
Yeah, I know. I would love to go back to Thailand during mango season, because they go all out for their mangoes, and you can buy them in like different stages. Where like here, you just go to the market and you're gonna get your mangoes, whatever doneness they are in the produce section. That's where you're going home with.
Right.
But they like them at like all different stages. So if you go, apparently you go to a stall and they'll have 6 different types of mangoes or 6 different like readinesses of mangoes in front of you, from like a very, very unripe to like slightly more ripe, like darker green, whatever, and then like obviously the ripe, like orange ones, and they love all different stages of them. And I would love to go and try that.
Fuck yeah! When is that? Do you know?
It's probably like summertime.
Are we advanced enough to go to Thailand in the summertime? Since we went once in the wintertime?
I don't know, but I'll go.
I can't wait to go back to Thailand, dude.
Think about it every day. I'm not even lying, dude. We've talked about a trip to Japan next year, and I'm fired up to go to Japan. And like in the back of my head, though, I am like,
Thailand's right there.
We can go to Thailand.
You get an extra week out for the same amount of dollars.
I know. Still gonna go 2 weeks though.
2 to 3 weeks. 2 weeks to 6 weeks.
They actually just recently extended your visa, so you can stay for, or not even visa, but like how long you can stay, to 60 days.
Dude, and was that the new digital nomad visa situation that they got going on?
I think it might be it. Well, that might be even extended. I think now you can just go for 60 days. I think before it was 30 days, but now I think you can go for 60.
And either way, I mean, we have a podcast, so we're digital AF, I would say.
Yeah, that's right. So tell your friends to tell your friends.
Comment,
get people listening to this.
Subscribe, share. Get the boys to Thailand.
Brian and I can quit our whack ass jobs. Fucking do Thailand for
Eat cow soy for 6 months.
Oh yeah.
Remember that lady?
Yeah. We'll still have a pod. I want to do a full Thailand pod episode where we just talk about all the shit we ate in Thailand.
Next week.
Okay, next week.
Cool. Sweet. Should we get to our favorite segment?
The idiot sandwich.
What are you? Idiot.
You stupid idiot.
I'm an idiot sandwich.
You're an idiot. Of all the idiots, you stand alone.
Say your little thing.
Let's find out who will earn their place between 2 slices of bread today.
Do you want to go?
Yeah, I can go. This is funny. This was a very long time ago. I think I was probably like 16 years old. I'm the idiot in this sandwich. Yeah, I was like 16 years old. I was working at a busboy in this old timey country club, and really didn't know what I was doing. This was like probably fairly early on to me working there. And fairly early on to me working there, and we were having like some big banquet and needed to pull down a whole bunch of plates and polish all the plates. And so we were taking the plates and like carrying them out to the dining room. And I wasn't really given a whole lot of instruction, just like it was after hours. So there wasn't people in the dining room. I was just carrying stacks of plates and I was setting them down on this table, and I probably had set down a good 250 plates on this table in the dining room. And I set them down and I turn around, and all of a sudden, crack! And the table broke in half under the weight of all the plates, and 250 plates just came cascading down. And a substantial amount of them smashed all over the ground. And I got yelled at.
They're expensive?
Probably not particularly, but I mean,
medium banquet plates. That's enough of them. Yeah.
You break 200 of them. The price goes up. And also the table that I broke, it was like one of those tables that were like bolted to the ground in the dining room. So it was, a particle board tabletop, whatever, that had probably been there for 40, 50 years already. Snapped in half under the weight of all the plates. So I'm the idiot sandwich.
Ronnie Sanchez. Let's give him a round of applause. Applause.
It's one of those moments where you feel all the blood run from your face, and you're just like frozen.
Yeah.
Watching glass explode, porcelain.
Yeah. And the cute banquet server that you were flirting with is just like, I don't even know you anymore.
I was the youngest person that worked there by a good 30 years. Easily. Easily.
That's awesome. So
what do you got?
That cute cougar was like, I don't even know him. I have a idiot sandwich. You know, a lot of times in the restaurant we're playing around with food, trying to make something out of nothing a lot of times. And I think I was the sous chef at Plum Chucks at the time, and I was tasked with making an appetizer, or it was a special. It was for a select group of people. I don't think it was very much. I think the total of like what I was trying to do was like make like 2 quarts of soup, and I had the idea of making like this like potato leek soup, and we had also at the bar at the time we had these like really beautiful butterfly pea flowers, and with typically what you'll see them in like a bar application is they'll like steep it like tea, and it's like this super bright blue color, and then if you add like lemon or acidity to it, it can be like this really beautiful bright purple color, and it's awesome. And I don't know why I wanted to make like this soup like super fucking like blue. I was like, you don't see fucking blue food. Like I know like blueberries exist, but they're not even really blue. They're really like red when you squish them, you know? And
what kind of soup was it?
It was like potato, like white. It was like, to me, it was like, okay, like if I have this like white thing, then maybe I can like color it blue. And so I like steeped these pea flowers, and I like had this like blue liquid, and I had the soup, and I like milled it through the potato ricer, and I had this soup, and I like start like mixing in this pea flour shit, and it's like turned into the nastiest gray fucking soup you've ever fucking seen. And like it's one of those things that like what's it called, the sunk cost fallacy, where you're like, you've put so much effort into this thing and it's failed, but you like want to keep grinding at it because you're like, I've already fucking put so much time into this thing, and I'm gonna make it work. And like I remember looking at Jack and being like, tell me to stop. Just tell me to stop doing this. Please. And to his credit, I don't think he ever did. But eventually I was like, well, this is trash right now.
I'm done.
I'm the trash. This dish is the trash. And sometimes dishes just don't work out. And that's what you get for trying new stuff. Sometimes you get gems. Sometimes you get shit. Sometimes you get something in between that can eventually make it to the top premium, but this time we got a fucking 2 quarts full of fucking garbage. And so congratulations to me. I'm your idiot sandwich.
Double idiots today. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Nasty gray gross shit.
Initially when you were telling the story, I was like, oh, I could see that happening. And then
right, that's what,
as it went on, I was like, I kind of think this is just going to turn gray.
It's too much. It's like, and it's because it's not white, right? It's like,
right.
It's like off white.
Right.
And it's not blue. It's off blue.
Yeah.
Together.
It's blue and water. Like,
it's gross. It's like fucking, I don't know, like Wilfred colored.
Oh God.
Yeah, not good. But you know, we'll live to cook another day.
Next week, are we talking about Thailand food all day?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll be travel planning, obviously. we'll be going through all the flights on Expedia. And
Yeah, tune in next week as we book our vacations to Thailand.
yeah, exactly. That'll be a really good time.
Oh God, good shit. This was fun.
All right. Yeah, that was a great episode. That was really fun. Thanks everyone for listening. We love you. Like, subscribe, share with your friends.
Tell your mom about it.
Shout it from the rooftops. Tell your mom about it. She's going to love it. I know her.
I know at least some of your moms.
I know everyone's mom. I've met some people's moms in my life for sure. Well, we love you and stay creamy.
Yeah, we love you.
And we will see you next time.
Love you guys.